I gotta meet with my lawyer tomorrow. See what kind of plan we can come up with. There's a few important things. Some of them are, I'm just trying to think out loud here. Got a questioning from the RCMP about an incident. And then there's some other issues I gotta raise. So one is the case of getting a cop who's on leave, paid leave. So the problem with cops getting paid leave is like it's like they're allowed to break the law, or it seems like it. And then when they're caught breaking the law, then they get to stay home and get paid despite the fact they broke the law. So that's one thing I gotta raise. Another is the Edmonton Police Association magazine had special investigators contact me about a case, and then that led to eventually having a special Crown attorney flown in from Ontario from Niagara Falls to defend the government in my allegations against the government. So that's 3 different points. Another is right. I'm gonna jump back and forth here between related subjects. in the sense that one the topics I just mentioned, they are part of what led to exactly what I'm hiring my lawyer about on a different related case is where it feels like the government had made an application, an ex parte application. Ex parte means without notice, so I was not notified I was being prosecuted. By the court. The court chose to make the application, and the court found that I was guilty of malicious prosecution and ordered me to stay away from any courthouse. I don't remember the exact number, but it's about 50 meters or 50 feet. I think it's 50 meters. So that's what I'm hiring my lawyer about. And the special crown attorney they sent from, they flew in from Ontario. That's one of 10 things. There might be more than 10. The other day I made a video about how there was either 9 or 10 things that I've done most lawyers will never do. I've since learned about this special crown attorney that was flown in from Ontario, and I only know of one other case. That's how rare the things I've done are. Is I'm certain where there's one, there's more. I'm certain there's other similar cases where they've had judges or lawyers or special attorneys, special crown attorneys, special investigators. There was a special investigator that was hired. So there's a judge that was flown from BC to Ontario to prosecute an attorney general in Ontario. And at the time, Chief Justice Pentelechuk, no. I think maybe was it? I think it was Pentelechuk. I'd have to check. No, not Pentelechuk. Let's see if I can, before Wagner. McLaughlin was Canada's Chief of Justice. McLaughlin was hired as a special investigator in a BC legislature criminal investigation. So McLaughlin was hired as a special investigator. There was a judge from BC that was flown in to prosecute the Ontario Attorney General. Similarly, there was my case where I should talk to one of my friends about this. Anyway, that's how rare some of the stuff is I've done. So I am bragging. And and it seems that's why the court thought it best to prosecute me without notice, essentially a closed court. One of the allegations, I admit to taking pictures of the court file. Now, some of the things that led to I could use in my defense in this malicious prosecution case is one of the things I've done most lawyers will never do is have a case prosecuted twice In that situation, I had two important changes in circumstance in my favor, where a change in circumstance kind of almost, in my view, changes everything about the case. I've had two of them. That judge went on to being promoted to the Alberta Court of Appeal. So, I mean, judges are people too. Judges make mistakes too. The chance of a judge making a mistake and also being promoted to Alberta's highest court, chances are is that judge made a few good decisions, and whether you like it or not, agree with it or not, that judge thought it important to have a case in my favor returned to trial, which is unheard of. There's a handful in Alberta that I'm aware about. One is where the Supreme Court wrote to I think it was the Queen's Bench at the time. Maybe it wasn't the Queen's Bench they wrote to, maybe it was just the Court of Alberta. And the SCC suggested that a pimp should be prosecuted twice in a certain case. But I just won't go into details about the case, though. That's the kind of another situation where a case was prosecuted twice, like how rare it is. An Alberta judge had an RCMP officer charged with or the officer was charged with drunk driving, and one of the boss it seems like the judge let him go with I don't know what, if it was a slap on the wrist or dropped the charges, I don't know, but what happened is the RCMP bosses at K Division wrote a letter asking the courts to prosecute the cop a second time because drunk driving cop isn't good for, what do you call it, public trust in the legal system. So getting away with drunk driving, so that's how rare it is, and that's the kind of effort it often takes, not always. We have the human right to be from being prosecuted twice. And and so that judge deemed it such a breach of my rights that she deemed the best remedy was to give me a chance at winning a prosecution in my favor. And that reminds me, when my mental health deteriorated, when my mental fitness deteriorated to the point of schizophrenia, one judge could see that I couldn't function, and she rightfully suggested that I needed a legal decision maker, because the judge could see that I could not make decisions, simple decisions, and that was ignored by therapists. I should send that to my business coach. And I'm suggesting, when that judge felt that I could not make simple decisions, that I needed a legal decision maker, that judge had a duty to, it's my position, seems like, that judge had a duty to assign a legal decision maker. And failed to. Feels I should make a note about how my diagnosis didn't follow me across provinces. I did have a psychologist. I should confirm her qualifications. Write a letter saying that I should not be in court. And that was ignored by the court. When the psychologist ordered me to stay out of court, the court insisted I continue being harassed and threatened in court. So for that reminds me, that alone should have a judge, I forget what the term is, but this judge should no longer be attached to or I don't want to say attached, but anyway, I should no longer have to speak with that judge. And I'll see if as a remedy, one of the remedies we'll seek is to ensure this judge no longer speaks to this case. Another remedy should be that I should not be required to defend myself and or pay for a lawyer. Doubtful I'll get a court to pay for my lawyer. There's a term for it, there's a legal term for it where I forget what it's called. There's several similar processes, and it's not necessarily the court, but it's the legal system. There is a third remedy, if I can remember what it was. Right. This is a crazy remedy. I'm not sure that I want to. It's not embarrassing, it's just crazy. Crazy qualifies as embarrassing? No. I think what I'm trying to say is I just don't know how to describe this third remedy. It's not as simple as saying a few words. So I don't know that there's a fourth remedy. And actions that led to my being prosecuted as a malicious litigant of an ex parte application by the court. So things that led to the ex parte dare I say legitimately led versus the court's allegations. think I'll end the video here. Just pulling into staying at the in a room tonight in Edmonton, 2 nights, and I'm gonna finish taking these notes. I'm gonna relax. I think that about sums it up. I'm sure there's a few more points. Yes. I still have somebody stalking me. What else? Um, $2024. Fourth remedy, I still need a protection order. I still need a protection order. And that's probably a good start. All right. What can we learn from this to leave everybody on a good note? Being curious to the point somebody else feels you're curious, to the point somebody else tells you they think that you're truly honestly curious. When other people tell you you're curious, like a character reference, that's when you know you're on the right path. And I think what's going to happen is, when you're that curious that other people would put that in a character reference, you'll find yourself being excited to find out that you're wrong. Now, that sounds crazy to think that you might be happy to find out you're wrong, though what it means is, a different way to explain it is that you found out more information to lead you on the right path, to narrow your vision on target, to avoid all the noise. Some of the noise we pay attention to isn't just noise. Some of it is propaganda, static, and not only not productive, but sometimes counterproductive. And so when you find out that you're wrong about a thing, it means you can focus on different information that might be more accurate to lead you to a better answer. That's the logical side. The scientific side, it feeds the good neurochemicals, and it makes us energized, happy to exhaust our time and energy. Emotionally, I would say it makes us happy. And so, is it really ridiculous to make ourselves happy, to look for more information, different information, to have better information, to avoid making mistakes in the future, to avoid wasting our time, energy, resources? I don't know how to. I'm happy to share this information with you, the audience. Comment down below what you think. Help the community. Share your thoughts.